Have you ever walked past a beautiful old church on a Sunday morning and noticed how empty the parking lot is? Or maybe you grew up going to church every week, but now you find yourself or your friends attending less and less. It's not just your imagination. Across the globe, particularly in Western countries, church attendance has been on a steady decline for decades. And today, we're going to dive deep into the shocking truth behind why this is happening. What's really causing this massive shift away from organized religion? The answers might surprise you. Let's start with a hard-hitting statistic. A few decades ago, it was the norm for a majority of people in countries like the US, the UK, and Canada to identify as Christian and attend church regularly. Fast forward to today, and the number of people who say they have no religious affiliation, often called the knowns, is skyrocketing, especially among younger generations. We're talking about a seismic cultural shift, but why? Is it a loss of faith? Is it the church's fault? Or is it something else entirely? One of the biggest factors is a change in our social structures. In the past, the church wasn't just a place of worship. It was the community hub. It was where you met your neighbors, where social events happened, where you found your support network. Your social life, your business connections, and even your dating prospects were all tied to your church community. It was an essential part of the social fabric. But today, we have countless other ways to find community. We have social media groups, hobby clubs, sports leagues, online gaming communities, and volunteer organizations. You can connect with people who share your niche interests from all over the world without ever leaving your home. The church no longer holds the monopoly on community. People can find belonging and social connection elsewhere, and they are. So, the social incentive to attend church has significantly weakened. Another major reason is a growing skepticism towards institutions in general. We've seen a decline in trust across the board, in government, in big corporations, in the media, and yes, in organized religion. High-profile scandals within various church denominations have deeply eroded public trust. These incidents have led many people to question the moral authority and integrity of religious institutions. They see a disconnect between the values being preached from the pulpit and the actions of some of its leaders and members. This hypocrisy, whether real or perceived, is a massive turnoff for many, especially for younger people who value authenticity and transparency above all else. They're asking tough questions, and when the answers aren't satisfactory, they're voting with their feet. Let's talk about the cultural and ideological shifts. Society has become more pluralistic and individualistic. The idea that there is only one right way to believe or live is less and less popular. People are more exposed to different cultures, philosophies, and belief systems, thanks to the internet and globalization. This exposure encourages a more personalized approach to spirituality. Many people now say they are spiritual but not religious. They might believe in a higher power, practice mindfulness or meditation, and seek a sense of purpose and connection, but they don't feel the need to do it within the rigid structure of a traditional church. They prefer to craft their own spiritual path, picking and choosing what resonates with them. The one-size-fits-all model of traditional religion just doesn't fit a world that celebrates individuality. And we can't ignore the impact of science. As our scientific understanding of the universe expands, some traditional religious explanations for the natural world can seem outdated or metaphorical at best. The conflict or perceived conflict between science and religion is a major stumbling block for many. While many theologians and believers find ways to harmonize faith and science, for a growing number of people, the scientific worldview provides a more compelling and evidence-based explanation of reality. This doesn't necessarily make them atheists, but it can lead them to question the literal interpretations of sacred texts that are central to some denominations. Then there's the issue of social values. The world is changing fast, and many churches have been slow to adapt. Issues like LGBTQ+ rights, the role of women in leadership, and other progressive social causes have become major points of contention. Younger generations in particular tend to be far more inclusive and progressive on these issues. When they encounter a church that they perceive as judgmental, exclusive, or out of touch with their values of equality and justice, they're not going to stick around. They see a chasm between the message of love they expect from a faith community and the exclusive policies or rhetoric they witness. For many, this is a deal breaker. They will uncompromise their core ethical beliefs to be part of a community that doesn't share them. Finally, let's be honest, life is just busier now. In our fast-paced 24/7 world, carving out a few hours every Sunday morning for a church service can feel like a huge commitment. With the pressures of work, family, and the constant demand for our attention from our smartphones, free time is a precious commodity. People are prioritizing sleep, family time, hobbies, or just a chance to relax. The traditional Sunday morning service is now competing with brunch, youth sports, weekend getaways, and simply catching up on life. Unless the church experience is seen as deeply valuable and life-giving, it's often one of the first things to get cut from a packed schedule. So what does this all mean for the future of the church? Is it doomed to become a relic of the past? Not necessarily. This isn't just a story of decline. It's also a story of transformation. Many churches are recognizing these challenges and are actively trying to adapt. They're rethinking what it means to be a church in the 21st century. We're seeing a rise in more modern, non-denominational churches that use contemporary music, casual language, and relevant, practical messages. They often focus heavily on creating authentic community and providing tangible help to those in need, both locally and globally. They're leveraging technology, streaming services online to reach people who can't or won't attend in person. Other communities are doubling down on tradition, offering a sense of sacredness, mystery, and historical continuity that many people still crave in our chaotic modern world. They provide a quiet, contemplative space that feels like an antidote to the noise of daily life. There's also a growing movement of deconstruction and reconstruction, where people who have left traditional faith are finding new ways to engage with their spiritual heritage, often in smaller, more informal house churches or online communities. They're asking the tough questions and building a faith that makes sense for them, free from the institutional baggage. The shocking truth about church attendance decline isn't just that people are losing their faith. It's a much more complex story. It's about a search for community, a demand for authenticity, a shift in cultural values, and a reevaluation of how we spend our precious time. The institutions that are unwilling or unable to listen to these deep human needs will likely continue to shrink. But those that can adapt, that can offer genuine community, intellectual honesty, and a compelling vision of love and justice for our modern world, may just find a new way to thrive. The form might change, but the human quest for meaning, purpose, and connection is as strong as ever. What do you think? Have you noticed this trend in your own community? What are the reasons you, or people you know, have stopped attending church? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and if you found this interesting, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the trends shaping our world. See you next time.